Chapter 10. Pain was the first thing Rakkety Tam MacBurl wakened to. His head was one massive ache, and his limbs could not move. Upon opening one eye slowly, Tam found himself lying bound to a pole on the floor of a lantern-lit rock cavern. He tried to rise but fell back, the pole clattering against the stone floor. Behind him a voice sounded.
"I say, chaps, this tall rascal's awake, what?"
From someplace close by, Doogy could be heard regaining his senses volubly.
You cowards! Sneak up on a body and bludgeon him! Get these ropes off my paws!"
Another voice rang out. "I do believe little fat villain's awake too." Paws grabbed hold of Tam and Doogy, dragging them roughly over to the rock wall and propping them up in a seated position. Over a score of hares gathered around them. Tam held his silence until he could make sense of the situation they were in, but not so Doogy. Furious, the small Highlander roared at an older hare. A sinewy, athletic-looking beast with a battered face was wearing a green tunic with 3 stripes affixed to the sleeve.
"Did you no hear me, you great flapping cloth-eared clod? I told you to get these ropes off of me!"
The hare avoided his gaze, setting his eyes straight ahead.
"Sorry, mate. I can't do that until my lady Lesma sees you."
A tall, elegant hare, much younger than the other, stepped forward. He was wearing a red tunic and had a long rapier belted about his waist. Placing a footpaw upon Doogy, he pushed him flat.
"Get down on the floor like the confounded murdering snake you are, sirrah!"
Though he was tightly bound, Doogy managed to slew around. His teeth clashed as he snapped at the hare's footpaw, causing him to dodge backward as the prisoner ranted.
"I'm no murderer, and you've no right to call me a snake, you great snot-nosed rabbit!"
The hare raised his footpaw to kick Doogy.
"How dare you call me a rabbit? Now I'll teach you a lesson!"
He was wrenched clean off his paws and hurled to one side by the older green tunicked hare, who berated him.
Nah, young master, I've heard him one. Try to behave yourself like an officer and a gentleman, sir."
The young hare, third him on domain, argued back vociferously.
"Bad show, Sarge. You shouldn't be taking the side of that blooming assassin. We've lost 8 comrades, good and true, to the likes of that confounded worm. I'm going to knock his belly block off first chance I get. You see if I don't. What?
Tam interrupted, calling out indignantly. "That should be easy to do. He's unable to defend himself. Doogie's right. We're not murderers." Suddenly the sergeant bellowed.
"Stand fast, all beasts, for the lady will let me."
The badger ruler of Salamandastron strode in among them. Melesme was no longer young, but she was an imposing creature. Tall and powerfully built, she looked every inch a ruler, though clad only in a simple homespun smock with a forge apron belted over it. Turning her dark liquid eyes upon the sergeant, Melesme spoke in a voice which boomed around the cavern.
"What's going on here, Onewell?"
Sergeant Onewell took a smart pace forward and saluted.
"Ma'am, we apprehended these squirrels near the point where the slaughter took place. They was loitering around by a burnt-out ship, so we took them for questioning, ma'am."
Melesme beckoned, and Arflo, the young sea otter, was escorted through the gathering of hares. The badger indicated both captives.
"Have you seen either of these before, young'un?"
Arflo shook his head. "No, ma'am, he wasn't them." Tam decided it was time to speak his piece.
"I could have told you that. It couldn't have been us who did whatever was supposed to have been done. We were chasing after the Gulo beast and his white vermin on the orders of Araltum, Squirrelking and Idga Drayqueen."
The badger ruler raised her heavy eyebrows.
"But you two have the look of warriors. How did you come to be taking orders from those 2 overblown little idiots? Fortendam, Wildberry, release them."
2 capable-looking hares with medals and stars on their pink tunics marched out. Whipping out their sabres, they sliced through the bonds with a few masterful strokes. Tam and Doogy stood up, massaging the life back into their numbed paws. Knowing they were in the presence of a badger ruler, they bowed courteously. Tam elected himself spokesbeast for them both.
"Thank you, ma'am. I'm Rakkety Tam MacBurl, and this is my friend Wild Doogy Plumm. We serve Araltum and Idga because we pledged our oath and our swords in their service. The only way we can be freed from the bond is to take back and return their royal banner, stolen by the vermin."
Melesme issued a mirthless grunt.
Royal banner, indeed. Is that what those two idiots are up to these days? I've had them watched since they came to my groves. They're no harm to honest beasts, so I've let them be. But I don't want to ally myself to fools. What is this royal banner thing, Tam?
The warrior squirrel's jaw tightened.
Just a symbol, man. Part of their silly pomp and ceremony. What matters more is that a lot of squirrels, some of them my friends, were massacred when the Gulo beast stole the flag. Araltum and Idga care more for the return of it than the lives of their subjects. We'll get the flag back, but me and Doogy are more concerned with settling the score.
Doogie's teeth gritted audibly.
Aye, lady. Guild warriors canna rest until his dirty slayers are played out in steel for their crimes, ye ken.
Melesby nodded. Well spoken, sir. But tell me, who is this Gulo beast? Have you seen him? Tam answered.
No, ma'am, but we've seen his tracks, and they look like no other creature that ever walked this land. The paw prints are as big as those of a grown badger, but this beast has huge curved claws, though the fur is so long that it blurs the paw mark. One other thing I must tell ye, the Gulo beast and its followers, about 100 of them, feed off the flesh of their victims. We've seen the evidence, ma'am.
The badger ruler looked grim. I know this. We lost 8 fine young hares to them. There was little left by the time my long patrol got to the spot. Also, there was a drum. We made it for Abbot Humble of Redwall Abbey as a gift. That has gone the way of your flag. Though such a thing cannot compare with the death of our hares, nonetheless, it is a point of honour that we take back this drum and give it to its rightful owner. There were heartfelt murmurs of agreement from the hares. Melesby held up a huge paw, restoring silence. I have scouts out following the Gulo beast's tracks. At dawn, a force of 100 fighting hares will leave Salamanderstron. They will track the vermin and their chief until they face them. It is my command that they send those evil murderers, every beast of them, to Hellgates. She turned to the 2 squirrels. Will you be joining in the hunt?
Doogy nodded. I'm thinking you'll have to take me marching the double to get on yon vermin before we do. Eh, Tam?
Ferdinand Domain pawed at his rapier hilt.
Indeed, sir, and I say you'll be eating our flipping dust if you try to keep up with the long patrol. What?
A shout of agreement came from the hares, but was quickly stifled by a stern bark from Lady Melesby. Silence! Stop this foolishness. You officers and any of my warriors will answer to me if you do not work together with our 2 friends. Is that clear? Captain Derren Fortendam and Lance Jack Wildery drew their sabres and saluted, replying together,
Crystal clear, ma'am.
Melesby beckoned Sergeant Wonwell forward. You are older and more experienced than any. I want you to keep an eye on these younger bucks. Understood? The scar-faced veteran touched a paw to his ear-tip.
My heart and paw, ma'am. I'll keep the young rips in line. Attention, long patrol. You've got less than 3 hours to rest. Provision and choose your weapons. At crack of dawn, I want to see you on parade, smartly turned out and fit to march. Brigadier Crumshaw will be on the squares. Who knows what to expect? Dismiss.
Tam approached Melesby.
Man, we need our blades.
She stopped Ferdinand from walking off. Domain, return these warriors' weapons, please. There was still a rebellious glint in Ferdinand's eye, but he complied with the order promptly. Tam accepted his shield and blades from the hare, but Doogy was out to rankle him.
Ugh, mind you dinna slice your paws on a claymore, laddie. 'Tis a sword for broad beasties, no fancy talking rabbit like yourself, who carries a bodkin.
Ferdinand threw Doogie's gear on the ground.
Get me yourself, tree walloper. Just call me rabbit one more time, and you see this rapier. I jolly well promise you it's no bodkin, and it'll chop the insolent snout off you.
Doogy belted on his claymore, grinning broadly.
Oh, dearie me, old fellow, old chap. You got me all scared stiff now. Wee you rabbit.
They stood glaring at each other until Sergeant Wonwell stepped between them.
No, you gentlemen, break it up. You heard Lady Melesby's orders. Behave yourselves.
Tam pulled Doogy away.
Come on, mate. Let's find some place to get a spot of shut-eye for a few hours.
What's the matter with you, Doogy? Just ignore him. The little Highlander followed Tam reluctantly.
Yon tough horse buck has stroking my tail the wrong way. I'll have to teach him some wee manners, so I will.
Tam led his friend down to a grotto, thickly carpeted in dry grass and soft moss. He waved a paw under his nose.
Listen to me, Wild Doogy Plumm. If you're bound to cross blades with that hair, then wait until we're clear of here. I won't have you abusing Lady Melesme's hospitality. Now, curl your tail up and get some sleep." The sergeant appeared with 2 steaming beakers which gave off an aromatic scent. "Get this down your throats before you go to sleep, because it'll do the bumps on your noggins a power of good. Master Doogy, pay no heed to yon domain. That one's perilous and lightning fast with a blade, but Ferdinand's young and not headed like you, so steer clear of each other." Tam eyed the sergeant's battered face curiously. "Thanky, Sarge. You don't mind me saying, but all you carry is a slingshot. Is that your only weapon?" The hare winked and held up his paws. "Weapons, mate. These is my weapons. I'm a boxing hare. The old slingshot's good for long-range hitting, but for close work there ain't nothing better than these 2 trusties." Doogy sipped his fragrant cordial, feeling the headache recede immediately. He inspected the sergeant's clenched paws. "A boxing hare? What manner of beastie is that, Sarge?" One Will dropped into a fighting pose, lowering his brows and circling with both paws. Like lightning he shot at a right, then a left, the air whistling around him as he danced lightly, ducking and weaving, throwing punches. "Yeah, I was born to box, that's me trade. You know why they calls me One Will, no? Then I'll tell you, if me right don't get you, then me left one will. Ha ha! Left or right, mates, either one will set you on your tail. One will, see? Ha ha!" Doogy was mightily impressed. "I wouldn't mind learning how to box, Sarge. Mayhap you'll give me some wee lessons before time, eh?" One Will relaxed, dropping his guard. "Perhaps I will, mate, when I'm busy looking after the young patrollers. Mark my words, they ain't experienced, but they're salamanders strong, born and bred, all made of the right stuff and perilous brave. I've just got to stop 'em knocking the stuffing out of one another. You know what I mean?" He gave Doogie a wink. "I'll bid you a good night now."